So then we're just gonna start with a little bit of breathing work. So let's come down flat on the back. Let's start with the knees bent and the feet planted. You get to choose where the hands go. If you've had a really active day and you're still feeling pretty active, then I encourage you to go palms down to the floor so that the floor is giving you some feedback and you're staying really conscious and aware. If it's been a day rather that you need to kind of get away from, or you need a little bit of release from it, then go palms up and just let the shoulders sink back away from your ears. So if what you need is more heat and warmth in your life, palms down. If what you're dealing with is a little bit of maybe anxiety or overdoing, palms go up. Highly encourage eyes closed if you can be comfortable there. And as you breathe in, I want you to send that breath down into the belly. I'd like you to feel the low back connecting to the floor. Note how the belly expands up towards the ceiling with the inhale, and then sinks down with each exhale. Now let's start to lengthen that breath out. Let's make every inhale last for a count of 3. Make it a long 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then the breath out is going to be the same. Long count of 3. When you get to the bottom of that next breath, the full exhale, hang out empty for just a moment. See if you can pause before you breathe in again. Give yourself that moment of ease, of peace, of quiet. We're not holding the breath so long that it feels scary or sketchy. We're just going to give ourselves that moment to enjoy the quiet. Bring your attention up to the top of your head, and then slide your attention down the body, scanning and checking in with the jaw, the neck. Are you stiff and holding tension? Bring your awareness to the shoulders, the chest. Are your shoulder blades easily sinking into the ground, or are you pushing, or are you holding them away? Notice how the breastbone and the belly both move with the inhale and the exhale. Feel the places your spine connects to the floor. If the low back feels good, you might start reaching the legs out, coming to full extension on the ground, going to flat. And then feel into the backs of the knees. Feel the ankles and the toes. And then we're going to start that same scan, but we're going to go from the bottom to the top. And this time we're going to bring movement in. So let's give the toes a bit of a wiggle and a curl. You might even be able to rotate the foot, pushing the big toe away and then pulling it up towards your face. Roll the ankles around in little circles. And then push your heels away and pull on your toes. Strengthen the front of the shins. And then reverse, push the toes away aggressively, strengthening the calves. And then go for 1 or 2 more of those little cycles. Give your knees a little bit of a bend, and then aggressively push them straight, pulling the kneecaps up to the hips with your quads. And you can go as bent as you like. And then rotate the thigh around in the hip socket. Turn the knees apart, turn them together. And then try turning both knees to the left and both knees to the right. Give the hips a rock forward and back, and a rock left, and a rock right. Find ways to move through the spine and the rib cage. Pull the shoulders back. You might even find that reaching an arm to the ceiling unglues a shoulder blade. And everyone seems to understand this, but I just want to call it out. There's nothing that you could do wrong right now. This is you, it's your bones, it's your joints. It's play, it's check-in, it is free form. Go ahead, get a little bit of movement into the elbows if you haven't already. Roll the wrists around. Make a loose fist, and then extend the fingers one by one. And then pull them back into a fist. Soften your face, let your jaw hang slack. And slide your jaw to the left and to the right. Bring easy movement into the head. Little nods and little no's. Bring movement into your eyes behind your closed eyelids. Turn to the right, turn to the left. See if you can move your eyeballs in little circles. And then reaching the arms up overhead, lengthening out along the floor. Notice all the places that you are in contact with the ground. Feel those spots. Squeeze your back body. See if you can float your hips just barely up off the floor. And then settle down, hug knees to chest, give yourself a hug, wrap arms up around lower legs, take a few rocks to the left and to the right. And then rocking forward and back. Come on up, coming through a seat, and we'll go directly into table. A little bit of a quicker trip here. Bring the head through some nods. Go slow enough that you hear and feel the crackles in the neck. Take the head through a few no's. Same, don't miss any information. Bring the shoulders through gentle retraction and protraction, pulling the shoulder blades together behind you and then pushing them apart as you drive into the hands. And then little cat-cow, lift the tailbone, lift the chin, look up. Tuck the tail under, curl the chin and round the back. And then come through a few more of those cycles. Start adding in little bits of side to side. And sometimes the best thing we can do is look for the muscles or the parts of the body that we don't listen to very often and try to listen to them. Those things we don't see or hear, probably some of our most injury-prone bits. And then let's tuck the toes. We're going to push back to the first dog of the evening. Go ahead and pedal the feet. Find some length through the bottoms of the feet and the backs of the knees. Shifting the weight to the left and to the right. And then let's find a little bit of ab strength here. Come to stillness. And we're going to bend the knees so that they're just 2 inches off the floor. And we're going to hang out here. So we want to be sure that the thighs are vertical. So some of us are going to walk the hands forward a few inches. Find strength through the chest. Push hard, especially into the thumbs, into the floor. Create a little bit of a rounding through the low back. And we're going to hold here for 4, 3, and 2. Gently set knees to ground, hips to heels, and pull back into child's pose. I want you to envision that you brought your friendly giant with you tonight, and they wrap a belt or a strap around your hips, and they start pulling you back. And against that force, you walk your hands forward, and you traction your spine. You make yourself longer than you were. Take a really big breath in through the nose, fill up the belly, hold that breath in, taking another little sip, and then making some sound, blow it out through the mouth. And then the next breath in is easy, it's fluid. And then an easy breath out. Again, in through the nose, full breath. It goes into your low back. It makes the waistband of your pants just a little bit tighter. It's such a big breath in. And you hold it. And you add another sip. And you find that traction from your giant and your fingers pulling you forward. Taking one more little breath with sound all the way out. And then easy breath in and out. I was told long ago when I went through teacher training for yoga, this idea that the breath is the single greatest indicator of how we are. It's also the single most effective and easy to access tool to change how we are. So I want you to just very quickly and very calmly for yourself, identify how you feel right now. What's the mood? What's the mental state? Are you tired? Are you energized? Are you happy, sad, worried, anxious, content? And just watch what happens after one more cycle of breath. May change, may not, no guarantees. Big breath in, fill all the way up through the nose. Feel it into the belly and the low back. Taking another little sip like you're going to overpressurize that tank. And then out with some sound all the way to empty. Hold empty for a moment. Take stock how you are. And on your next inhale, tuck toes and let's push back, down facing dog. No rush. We'll be ready whenever you are. Let that next breath happen at its own pace. Let's go through a few shrugs of the shoulders. Inhale, push the ground away, shrug the shoulders to the ears. Exhale, set them firmly back onto the ribs. Next inhale again, push the ground away. And exhale, pull back down. And one more inhale to shrug. Exhale to pull down. Big toes are going to come together at the center line of the mat. Let's inhale the right heel up and behind. Step that right foot forward and through. And then we're going to sweep both arms up, making our way into lunge. So we're on the ball of that back foot. And let's create a little bit of force here, pulling the inner thighs together like you're trying to scissor your legs. And then, because it is still ski season, deeper bend into that back leg. Let's close the eyes here, just for 5. There's nothing wrong with falling. It says that balance requires your eyeballs. We want the system to talk to the joints and the feet. 3. 2. Eyes open. And we're just going to take this to a twist. Right hand reaches back, left hand to right knee. Turn open, face open to the right. And then I want you to wiggle those right fingers behind you. Keep your brain talking to the joint. Make a light fist. Open it one finger at a time, and then close it back down. Open it up once again. And inhale, sweep the arms. We're going to reach up and forward. Come on down, plant the hands, and step back. We're going to find plank. And we're going to hold this first plank tonight. We want to look for a little rounding through the upper back. The shoulder blades aren't pulling together, but they're actually pressing apart with strength, especially through the thumb side of the hand. And even out the breath, the 3 count in and the 3 count out for 4, 3, 2, and let's push back, down facing dog. Gaze between the big toes. We find stillness. We envision that we're on ice, and the hands and the feet want to fly apart, but we create tension through the belly to hold ourselves into this V position. Pretend your giant is trying to pull your feet away from you. Big toes together to center line. Left heel sweeps up and behind. Step forward and through between the hands, staying on the ball of the right foot. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lunge. Squeeze inner thighs. Find that adductor tension. Little bit of a bend in the knee. Come down. And then eyes close. And let's challenge the balance. Here for 4. 3. I want you to feel the big toe and the pinky toe of your feet. Keep them evenly pressed into the ground. 2. Eyes open and we come to twist. Left arm drapes and falls back open. Right hand to left knee. Draw the shoulders back, open the chest. Then you can use that right hand for a little bit of a pull into the twist. Set the shoulder blades down, left hand behind, wiggle the fingers. Create movement and connection. Wrap the fingers in. Create a light fist. And one by one, open out. Draw in, curl up to fist. Feel strength all the way from the fingers and the palm up to the left shoulder, down the spine, into the back leg. Open hand, sweep arms, eyes forward, look up, reach up. Hinge, plant the hands, step back. Let's find plank. And let's change this plank just a little bit. Let's walk the hands forward by about 4 inches. And then push through the toes and lean forward onto those hands. Re-engage through the belly, tuck the tailbone under. We're going to be here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Little breath in, knees to ground, hips to heels, child's pose. Big breath in through nose. Hold it at the top for a moment with a little bit of sound all the way out. One more time. Full breath in. Hold at the top. And all the way out. On your next breath in, make your way back down facing dog. And take a moment here, rotating the hips and the shoulders to the left and the right. Everyone here has heard me talk plenty about the abs and the fault of thinking that the abs are just that six-pack that runs up the center. We know that the obliques wrapping around from the sides are hugely important. So as you rotate left and right, I want you looking for that side body tension. We're going to be here for about a count of 6. Then we're going to move on and speed things up a bit. 5, 4, 3, and inhaling to toes. We're going to walk the hands back to meet the feet in a deep forward fold. Take a little bit of a breath in and then drape your spine closer to the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms, come on up to standing. Look up, reach up, pull the thumbs back, tiny back bend. Hands come to prayer. Take a look down, feet are hip width and parallel, a little closer than for dog. Inhale, sweep arms wide, lift, reach, extend. We're going to push the hips back, hinging at the knees and the hips slightly. Find about a 45-degree angle, and then close your eyes. I want you to envision that your giant has grabbed your hands and is trying to pull you forward, and you're going to brace back against that. You're going to pull the shoulders down the back of your body. As you inhale, bend your knees and sit your hips closer to the floor. And exhale, come back up. Inhale, pull the hips back and down into a deeper version of a squat. Exhale, come back up. One more time, inhale, hips back and down into our squat, and then we hold. So this is our low chair. We can think of the other as our high chair. We're here for 3. Your giant is still trying to pull you forward, and you're creating rearward forces on the back, on the arms, on the hips for 2. Inhale, stand, come all the way up. At the top, a little bit of a back bend if that's going to feel good tonight. Hands reset to prayer. Inhale, sweep arms wide. Lift. Hips back and straight down. We're coming to low chair. Hands find prayer. Look to your right, twist to your right, and we're going to hook the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Shoulders back and away from the ears, proud chest. Check that the feet remain balanced on the floor and the knees aren't pointing in opposite directions. Square up the hips if need be. Here for 3. Can you keep the breath smooth and consistent, even in challenging positions? 1 more full breath in. Exhale and dive to the floor. Let yourself drape to the ground. Breathing in, roll the spine up 1 bone at a time until we find ourselves all the way up to the top. The chin comes up last. Arms reach to ceiling. Take them wide, hips back, dive, full forward fold to ground. First 2 fingers are gonna grab the big toes. And then give your knees a little bit of a deeper bend, buy yourself some slack. Shoulders back, proud chest. Elbows are gonna go a little bit wide as you begin to pull yourself towards the ground. And then play around. Find the hamstrings. Find the shoulders. You can sway like a willow tree. No one ever is going to judge you for how far you got into your forward fold. Depth isn't as important as the opportunity to look around at the body, at the shoulders and the hips and the spine, and make friends with the things you don't often pay attention to. Take 1 more full breath in. Hold it. When you need to exhale, release the grip, and then roll the spine, and we'll return to standing. We need to take our chair twist to the other side. Inhale, sweep arms wide, lift, reach. Plug the shoulders down into the spine, hips back, down to low chair, hands to prayer. Look left, twist left. Hook the right elbow outside a left knee. And it's common for the left knee to try to go backwards, or for the right knee to go cattywampus and start pointing away to the west. Try to keep them in line. Ish. Shoulders back, proud chest, long spine. 4, even pressure, left and right feet. 3, 2. Small inhale, look down and dangle, drape. Interlace the elbows, grab opposite arms, and let your upper body sway. Find softness. The stiffer you are, the slower you probably need to go. Remember that stiffness is a neurological thing. It doesn't start in the muscle. The brain has some reason to be skeptical. So we got to earn its trust. Release fingers to the ground. Let's roll the spine, coming back up to standing. Inhale, arms overhead. Let's take this into a legit, stronger back bend this time. Squeeze the glutes and engage your thighs. Reach up through the middle fingers to the ceiling. And then allow the thumbs to pull your chest back and open. All of the work here, all that sensation should live in the back of the rib cage. None of it, or very little of it, anywhere near the low back. 5. And it's not that low back mobility and a low back bend is a bad thing for some of us. If your back's okay, it's fine. But that's just not what we're aiming for. 3, 2. As you inhale, return up to neutral. Soften the knees, push them back. Drape the hands down the thighs as you come into a full forward fold. Let's come up halfway, straight legs, flat back. Pull the shoulders back away from the ears. Strengthen the shoulder blades onto the rib cage. Then we're going to make this a little bit more of a strength position. The only thing that is going to move are your hands and your arms. Reach out in front of you. Reach straight out. And I want you to imagine that your giant has handed you an enormous rubber ball between your hands, and you are going to squeeze it in. You're going to refuse to drop it. Can you generate so much strength in the shoulders that things begin to twitch just a little bit? Doesn't mean you're weak. It means that that muscular connection is strong. It's something to shoot for. And then we're only going to rotate. We're going to turn the palms up to the ceiling. And someone has just handed you a big platter of food, and you're holding it like an offering to friends and family and the rest of the world for 3. And again, if it feels like effort, great. 2. Little breath in and release everything, hands to the ground. Let's walk the hands forward, down facing dog. Take a moment here and rotate, shift. Come to the toes if that's your happy spot. Shrug the shoulders if that's what's needed. Move the head, the neck. You can even come to child's pose in these moments of pause between other things. And as a group, we're going to move on in 4. And if what your brain needs is stillness, find calm and gaze between the big toes. 3. 2. And 1, let's meet up in dog. Inhale to toes, soften knees, look forward and walk the feet to meet the hands. We're coming to the top of the mat. Inhale, come up halfway, straight legs, flat back. We're going to hold this position and set up for a twist. Right hand is going to come across to the left knee or just above. Breathing in, roll the left shoulder back, reach the left arm to the ceiling, and then look up as you've unfurled that sail. And then if your right hand on your left knee is really helpful for you, leave it there. But your other option is to reach the right arm towards the floor, bringing the arms to a straight line, and then take that left shoulder back another degree. Pry the rib cage open. 5, 4. There's a tendency to round to the ground. Puff up your chest a degree. 3, 2. Small breath in, look down, release the hands. Inhaling, roll the spine, unfurling yourself as you come up to standing. Sweep the arms, come into that same long, tall, little minor back bend. We undo that twist. Hands through prayer, dive back to the floor. Inhale, half lift, come back up, straight legs, flat back. Opposite twist, left hand comes to right knee or just above. Roll that right shoulder back on the inhale, unfurl the right arm to the sky. And then without letting things move too much, point the left hand to the floor if you like. And then use that left arm as a lever to open the chest further. We'll hold 5. Notice if the breath got challenging to hold. Does it get stuck in your chest when we're twisted up? 3, 2. Little breath in, look down and unwind to the ground. Let's inhale, come up halfway, straight legs, flat back. Plant the hands and step back to plank. And this time we will come through our lowering. Little breath in, and if appropriate, come to knees, and we're just gonna lower slowly all the way down to the floor, through the push-up, flat to the belly, turn the head to one side, reach the arms down alongside the torso, and maybe close the eyes. One of the things that we can learn through our practice is to be on and to be off. And this is a great moment to practice the off part. Wiggle your hips on the ground. Find the pubic bone as your connection point as we set up for locust. If there is anything that is going to get crushed between bone and hard floor and you don't want that to happen, now's a great time to adjust things. And then let's bring the mouth or the chin to the floor. Eyes are forward. Zip up the inner thighs. Your knees and your ankles and your big toes connect. Inhale, lift the legs up behind you. Glutes are straight, glutes are strong. Legs are straight, point the toes. Inhaling next, roll the shoulders back, open the chest off the floor. Gaze is forward. And we're gonna take 2 rounds tonight, which means if you wanna scale up on round 1, you're welcome to do that. That scaling is sweeping the arms out past the ears. Letting the weight of the arms load the shoulders, load the rear delts a little bit extra. 5. And if you breathe so deeply that your breath rocks you on the floor, great. 3. Squeeze the glutes, draw the shoulders from ears. 2. And gently lower to ground. Turn head to opposite side. I would highly suggest bending the knees and windshield wipering the feet left and right. And then let's set up for number 2. Mouth, chin to floor, legs zip up straight behind you. Pointing the toes, inhale, float the quads and the legs up off the ground. Roll the shoulders back, following inhale, open chest. And then decide if you want to stay in our slightly easier version with hands reaching back, or you want to scale up and take the arms forward. And if the arms come forward, there is a big golden plate of lots of good food, and you are holding it up off the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2. Half breath in, and lower to ground. Turn head to opposite side. Bent knees, windshield wiper the feet. And one last active piece of work before we start changing it, a little bit more meditative, a little bit calmer. Let's plant the hands and make your way back to plank, please. However you want to get there, through the push-up, through the knees, find your happy spot in plank. Then we're just going to play a couple little games with plank tonight. At any point you need to rest, you put a knee on the ground or both knees. It's all good. Let's start really simple. Please lift your left foot off the ground and don't let your body roll towards the left. Straight forward. We get that. Let's put the left foot down and lift the right. Same thing, right? Not a huge deal yet. Let's go ahead and set that right foot down and relift the left. And this time, let's try to get at least 4 of the 5 fingers of the right hand off the floor. And if you can get all 5 to float, doesn't matter if you go a little bit wobbly, if you shift a little to the right, to the left. We're going to hold here for 3. That cross-body engagement's such a cool thing. 2. And very gently, hand lands, foot lands. Let's go right leg up. Oh, and then left hand. Somewhere between 0 and 1 fingers on the floor. Maybe the palm here for 5. 4, we're going to take a short pause after this one. So stick with it. 3, don't give up on it. 2, with calmness, hand and foot to ground, knees to ground, hips to heels, child's pose. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle as you go back. A little bit of a wag of the tail, soften the sides of the ribs. So the good news is we're going to leave 3 things on the ground from now on. Let's come on forward to plank, please. The hands both get to stay there, so get strong through the chest. We meet up in plank. Left foot is going to lift a couple of inches off the floor, and then turn your left toes out to the side and bend that knee. Bring your knee up towards your elbow. I don't want it to touch, but I want it to be super close. In fact, if you could touch, I want it to be 3 inches and you're holding up an imaginary 3-inch thick book. 5. And let's add just a little bit for the side of the waist. Lift your left knee up into the outside. 4. Hold there. It burns, it cramps. We all know the story. 3. You're not alone in that. 2. And 1. Reach the leg back, plant the foot, take a little bit of a wiggle. We're going to go to the other side in 3. We'll meet up in plank here. In 2. And 1. We're forward into plank. Right foot elevates, turns out to the side, knee comes forward 3 inches from the elbow. Pause. We're here for 5. 4. 3. Lift that knee a little bit higher. Let the external or the internal oblique on the back of the spine get a little bit of work. 2. And inhale, reach back. Set foot, set knees to ground. Child's pose for a breath or 2. Enormous breath in. Slight sounding on the breath out. And inhaling, walk the hands back, lift the chest. Let's sweep the legs around in front. We'll set up for a forward fold. Pull the flesh away from the sitting bones. Let your pelvis get connected to the ground. I'm a big fan of starting with knees soft. It just gives me a little bit more room. Inhale, reach the arms to the ceiling. We're going to pull the rib cage forward to connect to the thighs. And then grab hold of the feet or the ankles or the shins. Inhale, shoulders back, proud chest. Exhale, gently pull forward. Let the head and neck fall. Probably great to close the eyes here. And scan the body. Where does the tension here show up? Where's the resistance? Hammies, low back. Between the ears, maybe. We'll hold 5. Longer exhales. Longer counts. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Inhaling, release the grip, slide the hands back up. And we're going to come down to the back. Get set up for a knee down twist, all the way flat to the back. Grab hold of the right knee and pull it into the chest as you lengthen the left leg out away from you. And with that knee pulled in, roll the right ankle in little circles. Paint with the big toe. Reverse the direction. We end up putting the nerves into a little bit of tension this way. It can be really relaxing to get them moving. And then the foot goes quiet Pull that right knee in just a little bit tighter to your chest. Left hand pulls the right knee across the body, all the way down to the floor. And the right arm reaches across to the other side. So, right knee is down to left. Right arm is reaching back behind you. Eyes closed. And we're going to call on our giant once or twice more tonight. As you take a breath in, you feel your giant pushing very gently on your right knee and right shoulder. And as you exhale, they increase their force. They push down just a little bit more so that you can find the deepest twist available. Another breath in and breath out, a little bit more pressure still. And one more time, breath in, long exhale, smooth and even pressure from your giant. Pause at the bottom of the exhale. And when you need the next breath in, you unwind and pull both knees into the chest, curling up into a little ball, giving the lower legs a hug. Gentle rock left and right. Maybe move the low back in some circles. And then holding on to the left knee. Right leg reaches out along the ground. Squeeze the knee in. Roll the left ankle in circles. Paint with the big toe. Reverse direction. And then with that squeeze, right hand pulls left knee across the body. Left arm reaches back to counterbalance. And the goal here is to get the knee and the shoulder both to the ground. Some of us will get there really easily. Some of us may never get there, and that's okay. But it's generally a good idea to try to get the knee as far over as we can and let the shoulder lag, rather than vice versa. As you breathe in, you feel that pressure from your friendly giant. And as you exhale, you relax. And they push just enough to help you go a little further. Eyes are closed. Everything you need to know you can learn from inside, from how things feel, from how the body responds. One more breath in. Long exhale, your giant pushes you towards the ground. With your next inhale, come back to center. And we'll close out, making our last active pose here. Happy baby. Bend the knees and reach up, grab hold of the insides of the shins or the ankles. Only grab the feet if you can keep the whole back connected to the ground. There's no value in grabbing the feet, really. It's just a thing. It's just a marker. It looks pretty for Yoga Journal. What matters more is pointing the heels to the ceiling. Maybe having a little bit of a rock through the low back so that these tissues that are under tension can get a massage. With the eyes closed, you pay attention to the thoughts. You pay attention to your mental state. And then one more inhale. Similarly to how we started our time tonight, we're going to exhale and reach the legs out along the ground. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. Allow the eyes to close. And with every inhale, you feel the places that your body is connected to the floor. And with every exhale, those same bits get a little bit heavier. And it pulls you down. You give way to gravity as you sink in. If you notice that the mind starts to wander, that's okay. It's the thing that the brain is programmed to do. It wanders to learn. It wanders to keep us safe. But it can certainly wander too far off. And if it does, you bring your awareness back to the next inhaled breath. I want you to envision the ground that you're lying on, the mat that's between you and the floor. I want you to envision that the floor is a soft, solid, or soft and not solid structure. And you can start to sink into it. And as you sink in, it curves and curls up and around you. It holds you, it supports you. Nothing else that you need right now. As you take in this next breath, gently wiggle the fingers and curl the toes. Reach the arms overhead. Lengthen out along the ground as long as you can get from top to bottom. And then drawing the knees into the chest. Curl yourself up. Let gravity pull you to one side into a fetal position. Support the head and neck with the arms. Pause for just a moment here. Take stock of your mental state. Take stock of the body. And make an intention in one way through the rest of this week or this weekend that you're going to give yourself a bit of self-care. And sometimes that self-care looks like wine in a bubble bath or beer in a football game. Or it looks like some real talk with yourself about what it is that you need to do to move forward, to get unstuck. Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a commitment. Maybe it's just time spent walking and planning. But make that commitment to yourself. And with the eyes remaining closed, let's come on up and find a seated position facing forward. As we arrive, we let the hips sink into the earth, bring a little bit of a tuck to the chin, lengthen through the back of the neck so we're up tall. As the breath comes in and out through the nose, follow it through the nostrils. Notice the temperature of the inhales and the exhales. And then let's bring the palms together at the chest. And we'll close out tonight sharing the sound of Om. We'll start with a half breath in, blow it out with an easy sigh, and then a full breath in. Om Shanti, Om Peace, Namaste.